Hey, you guys, hope you're well. I just wanted to take this opportunity and let you know about our amazing new business scalability scorecard. So have you ever wondered if you're an entrepreneur, you're a business owner, and you want to grow and scale the business, but not sure how, and you're looking for some advice and you're looking for some strategies about how you could effectively grow and scale your business? Well, this is your opportunity. We have actually created an amazing business scalability scorecard. It'll take you around 7 to 8 minutes. And at the end of that, it will actually create a report of all of the things that you're doing particularly well in and the things that you need to make improvements to your business. And it's a great tool and a great asset for your business. To get free access to that, go to bit.ly/business-scalability-scorecard. Go there, go now. Take care, see you soon.
This is the Game Changers Experience. Deep dive conversations with leading business disruptors, Olympic athletes, celebrities, entrepreneurs, and influencers from around the world. This show will teach you insights about the winning principles in mindset, productivity, marketing, branding, entrepreneurship, business strategy, and more. Hosted by Productivity Authority, business strategist, former elite athlete, author, and public speaker, Adam Strong.
Hello, everybody. So who we got on today's show? So it's with a really good friend of mine, actually. I've actually known him a good few years. I actually met this individual probably going back a good few years back in the United States. We were at a business conference together. And we've always kind of, I don't know about you guys, but when what's the word I'm looking for? As you kind of begin to lose out of touch with people that you kind of think, oh, do you know what? This person's kind of interesting. And then suppose over the last I would probably say over the last 18 months in particular, I've helped this particular individual, but also we've kind of helped each other in a way and kind of championed each other as well. And I've seen his struggles, right? We all go through struggles with life. And if you're an entrepreneur, right, you'll know about the entrepreneurial roller coaster, right? Entrepreneurial roller coaster, having the highs, having the lows, having the highs, having the lows. If you're an entrepreneur and a business owner, guess what? It's fucking hard, right? If anyone tells you otherwise, that running a business or being an entrepreneur is easy, they're lying, okay? That's what I'm going to say. So I want a big shout out to Colin Haskins. How you doing, Colin? Hope you're well. Happy Wednesday to you. Bewley as well. Bewley, great to have you on here as well. Fantastic. Great to have you, and fantastic to have some engagement on here. So make sure that you subscribe on the YouTube channel, and you can see the link here, and then activate and click on that bell. We're on here every Wednesday, 7 p.m. South African time, 6 p.m. UK time. So without further ado, let's introduce my good friend. He's from South Africa. And he's a successful business coach, a successful business owner. Is also a published author, and I'm sure he'll talk a little bit about that. And he's actually working on a project with myself. Or should I make the announcement? Or we can, we'll think about that. Anyway, it's all good. Big shout out to Charmaine as well. So good shout out to you. And by the way, guys, would love to know where you're located. Where are you calling in from around the world? So just stick your location in the comment section below. So if you're calling in from the UK, if you're calling from South Africa, love to know where you guys are calling in from. It's just great to see some amazing people here. So if you could do me a favor, put a comment in the comment section below. That'd be fantastic. So yeah, he's a business coach, business owner, published author, and we're working on something pretty big actually, which is going to be coming out on the kind of fourth quarter of this year, which I'm really super excited about. And yeah, so listen, without further ado, I want a big shout out to Mr. Karel Vermeulen. How you doing, Karel? Woo! You're a little bit on the low side volume wise. Hey, listen, let's go with the flow. Hope you guys. So we've got people from South Africa. We've got Mike over in the UK. Ingrid, great to have you. South Africa as well. So listen, you've got some fans here, Karel, which is fantastic.
That is good. Welcome everybody from South Africa. I see there's a lot of first timers tuning in. So welcome everybody. And it's so wonderful to be on your show, Adam.
Absolutely fantastic. Listen, I'm looking forward to some of our conversations because I know that I know your background pretty well. I know that some of the people on here maybe not so much. But love to more kind of talk a little bit about, I mean, your specialism, what you're working on right now is all in these, I suppose sales more than anything else, right?
That's correct, and I've never really been into sales, to give the people a bit of a background, although I'm an entrepreneur and a business owner, for some reason, I always hated sales. I know it sounds contrary because, I mean, when you're a business owner, you're an entrepreneur, sales is the number one thing that you need to excel in and that you love, but I've always hated sales. Yeah, no, I wasn't into sales, and I always hated sales, although I'm a successful entrepreneur. I was fearful of sales whenever I hear the word sales, or I need to go to a sales call, or I need to just have a sales conversation with somebody, even in a whatever setting. I would get goosebumps, I would get sweating, my mouth will go dry, and all those symptoms. I couldn't understand why that really was, that I had this fear of sales. So what happened is I decided in December 2019 that I need to do something about it. I can't go on like this. I hate these negative, bad emotions that I'm experiencing around sales. And I know that sales is everything. Our whole life is about sales. So what I did is I enrolled into the Sales University of Grant Cardone in December 2019. I don't know if the people know about Grant Cardone because he's got this amazing sales university. Mm-hmm. So I did a master's certification, which is about 5 certifications for the whole year into that. And I have to tell you, my confidence just shot up out of the roof. So I decided I need to do something about it. Nip this fear of sales in the bud. So I enrolled into the Grant Cardone Sales University. I started reading books. You can see there's a lot of books on my bookshelf.
Right.
And so I really started digging into everything that I can get my hand on sales and learn about sales. Online programs, there's a lot of people, that I started learning about sales. So what happened then is my confidence started to boost, and then the magic happened, my sales started to increase. So I'm not 100% yet where I say, oh, sales, I'm all good about sales. Because there's always something to learn about sales. And the biggest thing that I've learned about sales that really shifted my mindset is that nobody's born a salesperson. Doesn't matter who you are. It's something that you can learn. The strategies you can learn. Learn how to talk over the telephone. Learn how to handle objections. Learn how to follow up with people. What to say, what not to say. Learn about your body language, your tonality, your voice, how you come across when you speak to somebody, and how to effectively listen. All those things are strategies into sales. But then I learned something really magically this year for one of my online gurus, and I have to give him credit, Zachary Dixon. If you want to ever follow somebody, he's from Australia, Zachary Dixon. Follow him on Facebook. I started following him last year, and his stuff is really amazing. And I don't know about you guys, but I really believe in the law of attraction, and I believe that everything around us is energy. So we need to start raising our energies, which is our vibration. Mm-hmm. And with the law of attraction, I can have my positive affirmations and talk about I'm a great salesperson. I'm a great person. I can have what I want in life and things. But if I do not have this missing link, I want to share this missing link with you now. If I don't have this missing link and connect the dots, as they say, it's not really going to happen. It's not going to materialize if I put it that way. Does it make sense what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, listen, it's interesting because if you'd have kind of spoken to me about 3 years ago about this whole kind of power of the universe and energy and vibrations, I would have said, this is too woo-woo for me, right? This is kind of like up in the fairies, up in the clouds, that kind of stuff. But listen, I totally get where you're coming from on the whole manifestation in the universe and I'm really big into energy, as and energy for me, and I'll tell you what my experience with you, Karel, is that, you put out a certain amount, you emit, you emit certain amounts of energy, and then you then magnetize between certain other energy sources. So, for example, with you, the reason we get on particularly well is because you're attracted to my type of energy and vice versa, right? Would you agree?
Right.
So,
absolutely, I totally agree with that. I was also on this hoo-ree-ha energy thing, vibration thing. How can that be true? But like anything else, the more you study something, the more you learn about something, and starting to really meditate on it and think about it, like, okay, there's something in it, and I had to ask myself the question, why are some of these gurus, what they're saying is working for them? So I'm by nature, I'm a curious person. I love to investigate. I love to ask questions and not just accept everything at face value. And that is what I have done. So then with what I've realized also with the energy is that if you look at let's take animals, for instance. Animals do not talk. Animals can feel each other's energy. And energy is also what we can say is that gut feeling that you have. We all have experienced it sometimes, that gut feeling, I should do this or I shouldn't do this. And you do something, you go against your gut feeling, like, damn, I should have done that. That is energy. When I talk about vibration, is just imagine when you having a negative thought, because we all know that thoughts, when we think something, it has a direct effect on our emotions. Okay, so I've got a negative thought. I'm not good at this. I'm not good at public speaking. I'm bad at sales. I hate sales. Or this person is against me. That person talks against me, or whatever the negative thought is that I have at that moment. Think how you feel, the emotion that comes up.
Yep.
And I want you to think, when you have that bad emotion, you're stressed, you're down, you're low in energy, what does your body language look like?
Right.
Your shoulders are scrouching, you're walking, your eyes are looking downwards, you're just feeling down, your energy is drained. So what we call then that is your vibration is low. You've got a low vibration. And when you have a low vibration, what happens in the metaphysical world, because we've got two worlds. We've got the physical world. The physical world is the world that we can see and we can touch. And we're all familiar with that. But the metaphysical world, that is the world of the emotions and energy that we cannot touch and we cannot see. And for people that come from a religious background, they will say I'm living by faith. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things that I do not see. That's there. It's out there in the universe. And the moment I start tapping into that, and that is when I need to connect the metaphysical with the physical. So that is the question. How do
Oh, we lost him again. Oh, no, he's come back again. Here we
come back again. Oh, this internet.
It's all
the
good.
Energy is the physical world. That's all the metaphysical world. As I said before, then the metaphysical world is your emotions, it's your energy, it is your vibration that we want to connect. So, in short, how do I connect that? Is I need to decide, okay, what is it that I want? I need to be very clear on what it is that I want. Because if I'm not clear on what I want in life, let's talk now, we're talking about sales. Oh, I want to increase my sales. Yeah, but how do you want to increase your sales? What is the number that you want to increase your sales? Do you want to have 10 more leads this week? Do you want to have an extra 1,000 Rand in South Africa, or 10,000 Rand, or $1,000 at the end of the month in your bank account at the end of this week? Then you have that. Then you have to start, okay, I'm writing that down. I've got clear in my decision what I want. Now I need to start to visualize that. What is it that I want? And for me, I really struggled with visualization. All the successful people, look at the successful sports people. They're so strong on visualizing their sport. If it's a boxing game, the guy will go and visualize round 1, round 2, round 3 each punch. You will visualize how he trains. You will visualize how he get into the ring. You will visualize the crowd. And then with visualization, what you need to do is you need to feel that emotion. And that is the secret. That is the secret link, is to go and really feel that emotion. What is that emotion that comes up? And then you take that emotion. You take that emotion and you wrap yourself in that emotion. If it's an exciting emotion, you want to shout for joy, you shout for joy. If you want to jump up, you jump up. You really, it's not just like, oh, I'm excited, or this is going to happen for me. No, yeah, I'm feeling good about it. You hear my voice down? Whereas I'm so freaking excited, it's going to happen for me. It's there. I'm calling it in. I'm wrapping myself, and you're jumping up and down. You're really raising your vibration. What you experience then, I'm goosebumps by just doing this now. So what I'm doing.
I got a question because I know that some of the people that are listening in, right, they're like, Karel, I get it, right? Vibration, energy, high energy, and enthusiasm, it sells, right? But then what if you're an introvert, right? What if you're an introvert and you feel very uncomfortable with with high energy vibration and things like that? Is that going to be a downfall? Does that mean if I'm an introvert, right? Does that mean that's going to number one, affect my results? And number two, does that mean that I'm going to sell less? I'd love to know what your thoughts are on that.
Yeah, that's a very, very good question. Believe it or not, I'm an introvert myself.
You are?
I am an introvert myself. I've always been a lonely person. I'm happy by myself. But the trick what I've learned, is that when do we decide that we are introverts? Because also remember that what you think you are. If I'm constantly saying to myself, okay, I'm an introvert, I'm an introvert, I'm an introvert, I'm going to live and I'm going to feel like an introvert, because we have in our mindset characteristics of an introvert. An introvert is a person that does not raise their voice. They don't jump up and down. They don't do all these other things. That is what society tells us. That is artificial, the truth. That's not our true selves. Just like with sales, we need to learn the strategies, because the strategies are working. I need to learn how to talk to a person on the phone. I need to learn this. It's the same with the introvert. You need to learn, okay, these things are working. Why not try that? Now, it doesn't mean that if you're going to jump up and down, all of a sudden you're an extrovert. You need to adjust to the situation for that. It's like a movie star. That's how I started to really realize that a movie star person can play different roles. They visualize themselves. They're living into that role because they want to manifest a great movie. They want to be a good actor. And I also always tell myself and my clients that sometimes, especially when you're into sales, you need to put on your actor's hat. Because think about it. If I'm going into a sales meeting and I'm thinking, gosh, I'm an introvert, I can't do this. What is going to happen? You're going to sound like an introvert. Your whole body language is going to be there. You're not going to have confidence. And this is where we have to unlearn that and learn these new strategies for ourselves, because what is it that I ultimately want? I want that sale. Because when I have that sale, what is going to happen with my emotions? I want to feel good about myself.
Right.
I'm going to pay my bills. I'm going to take care of my family. And that's going to raise my vibration, and that's going to put me over that step of I'm an introvert. It's good you're an introvert. A lot of these big salespeople are actually introverts, believe it or not. Does that answer your question? It's all we have to ask ourselves that quality questions. What is the result that I want?
Absolutely. And
then
by the way,
get to that result and then get to the corresponding emotion about that. You don't have to go and jump up and down in front of other people. Just do it by yourself. Take small steps. It's hard if you're an introvert and you've never done it. It took a lot of courage for me in the beginning to do that as well. And like, who's looking at me? Who's hearing me? And it's also fear. What are people going to say if I'm raising my voice? What are people going to say if I'm starting jumping up and down and getting all excited? But what I have learned also, it's those people, they're not going to pay my bills. We assume that people is going to look at us with binoculars, but it's not the truth. It's our fear and our insecurities that brings up these thoughts. It's the same, and I've seen it many times. People, when I tell people, listen, you need to start working out to go to the gym. But what are the people looking at me? Hey, guess what? Everybody's in there for the same reason. They're not going to look at each other or how you look, what you're dressing, what reps are you doing, how many weights you do. It's your insecurities and your assumptions. Now you put the binoculars on those assumptions and it's taken over your personality.
Yeah, I agree. By the way, for you guys that are listening in, and if you are, I don't know, whether it be an introvert, if you see yourself as an introvert or you see yourself as an extrovert, right? What I'd love to know from you guys in the audience that are listening in is, how do you, from your perspective, do you really struggle with sales being an introvert? Number one, if you are an introvert, or number two, if you're an extrovert, even the same question. If you're, I don't know about you, Karel, but if you have too much energy and too much overkill, right, that can also harm your conversions and sales. Would you agree?
Absolutely. And this is where what I'm talking about, jumping up and down and getting that excitement, you do that in your home when nobody else is there.
Right.
Because if you're going to go into a sales meeting all like, whoa, I'm going to get this sale, and like, I'm so excited and I'm raising my voice. Whoa. What is the first reaction that people's going to see when they've met you the first time? Say, hey, but you're going to sell me. Get out of here. I want nothing to do with you.
Exactly.
And this is where, again, on the other spectrum, where you need to learn to assess the situation, where you go into a boardroom, where you go into a one-on-one with a person. And this is where you learn all about, and this is what I'm teaching in my new course, Sales to Profit Mastery. Learn to assess the situation, read the body language of the other person, feel the energy of the other person, and then you go accordingly to the other person, because you do not want that person to be scared of you. So there are so many things when it comes to sales. But what I'm focusing on in our conversation tonight is, how do I connect the metaphysical with the physical, with the law of attraction, so I can start vibrating and calling into existence my goals and what I really want, and have that, and then practice this daily. It's like going to the gym. You're not going to gain muscle by 1 or 2 or 3 times. You have to do this constantly. And a lot of people, we want to get the feeling before we act. And that is not faith. That is not what it's supposed to be. It's, if I have to wait for the feeling to get a successful sale or to go on vacation, I'm never going to do that. I get the idea, the thought, I make a decision, I get clear on what I want, where I want to go, and I start align my positive affirmations with that. And the positive affirmations I link, and I always call it, I'm anchoring it with the emotion, with that right emotion, because I know that the corresponding right emotion, that is going to raise my vibration, and that eventually it will materialize. I heard a study that said that it takes about 6 to 8 weeks of constantly doing this before the metaphysical watch in the spiritual realm is going to materialize. So if I'm going to do it 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, 10 times, and it's not materializing, what do a lot of us say with a new thing? Oh, damn, this is not working. It's not working for me. It's not, it's not supposed to be for me. But then, how long have you been doing that? How long have you been consistent with that? It's only with consistency and working through your bad days that you're going to be a winner. Like you said in the beginning of your show, Adam, like, It's not easy to be an entrepreneur. It's not easy to be a winner. If you think it's going to be easy to be a winner or an entrepreneur, go back to your 9-to-5 job, because then this is not for you.
Absolutely.
It's not
100%
easy.
agree.
You are a winner. Thank you. You are a winner. Winners are made when nobody's looking. Winners are made when you feel down and bad and you do not feel like showing up. When you press through those bad days, when you press through that bad emotions and you show up, that's when you will reach the success.
Amen to that, brother. Amen to that. Listen, guys, if you are enjoying some of our conversations and you want to ask a question, by the way, to Karel, feel free to use the comments in the comment section below. We are streaming all over different platforms, from Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn, all of that great juicy stuff. Interesting conversations around sales, around vibrations and energy, because what I'm really hearing from Karel right now is that sales isn't necessarily about selling, right? Sales isn't necessarily sales. That's what I'm kind of picking up from, which is absolutely true, by the way. But if you'd like to make a comment in the comment section, or even ask a question, please do so. I would love to hear from you. And I know that we've got some amazing people listening in: Ingrid, Mike, Colin, Sharon. Again, feel free to use those comments in the comment section below. Question for you, Karel, right? What role does intuition play when it comes to sales from your perspective?
Great question. Intuition is what I call that your gut feeling.
Yeah,
your gut feeling. It's very important, because what I have learned as well is that my intuition is most of the time is right. I've seen it many times. When I have that gut feeling and I go against that gut feeling, I'm like, damn, I should have listened to my gut feeling.
Right.
Sometimes we go into like a sales meeting, we go into a sales meeting and I'm so focused. I want to get the sale. I want to get the sale. I want to get this sale. And then my gut feeling tells me, listen, I'm not supposed to team up with this person. To give you an example, way back when I started Lubrimax, my one of my business, Lubrimax Personal Lubricant, is that I had these people coming from a big chain store coming into my office. I mean, it was the first time I was like, so wow, they're coming in here with their BMW. They sit in my little office and they want my product on their shelves. So I was like, wow, that is really good. But when they started talking, I just had this funny feeling, my gut feeling, like, no, I don't like these people, because to explain, they were just talking about themselves and their product and things, and never really asked about me, where I come from, about my product, what I want. And it was just about them and blah, 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 blah. And my gut feeling told me, no, don't go with him. Just don't do it. And I was struggling when they left. Like, shall I do it? It's a big opportunity. It's a big chain store. It's going to bring in a lot of sales. But my gut feeling was telling me, no, don't do it. You're not ready. The way they behaved, it was just something off about them.
Yeah, totally get it.
The next day, I contacted him and just emailed him, listen, no, I'm not going to do that. And I told him I don't feel right about it, And a couple of months later, I heard some bad reviews about these people and about this chain store. And I'm so glad that I've listened to my gut feelings. And then there were other times that I did not listen to my gut feeling, that I went into business with some people and I lost hundreds and hundreds of thousands, actually more than 1 million South African rand, because I did not listen to my gut feeling. So that was another expensive lesson that I've learned. And it took me a long time to get over that. So I would always advise, listen to your gut feeling, check out the environment, ask quality questions.
Absolutely.
And then do your homework and then do an informed decision.
That's some great advice. That is very good advice. Absolutely, 100%. Listen, guys, if you have any questions around sales or if you just want to make a comment on some of our awesome conversation with me and Karel, then feel free to do so. We are human beings. We don't bite, by the way, and we are not here to judge each other. So I just wanted to kind of put that out there, right? Because I know we've got quite a few people here on the call, which is great. I love it. It's fantastic. I was going to say to you, if you are enjoying our conversations, again, like I said to you, please subscribe to the YouTube channel, which is the Game Changers Show. We're here every Wednesday, 6 p.m. UK time, 7 p.m. South African time, and 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So listen, I think what we'll do is, I know we're working on something pretty amazing, aren't we? And we can quickly, briefly tell them a little bit about what we're working on right now, can't we?
Oh, that is very exciting. Yes. Now let's tell the people. I just want to, before we tell the people, I know that we're sitting on sales, but the beauty about the metaphysical and the physical and the emotions and vibrations and all that is that it's not only for sales. It's for every aspect of your life. That's what you want. And that for me is absolutely the beauty, and I know, because we're applying it now to sales, because we entrepreneurs, we business people, and we want to increase our sales. And when I started to implement this metaphysical link, the missing link as I'm calling it, my sales boost more than 300%. I took my one business that was over R1 million South African rand in the red to a positive cash flow. Which was like, I was like, oh my gosh, this stuff really works, So sometimes you hear something and like, does it really work? And sometimes you just have to go with the flow and just like, what if this really works? And give it a try. What do you have to lose? That's always my question to people. It's not going to cost you money, because we're all afraid, I want to fork out money for this. But it's not. It's only going to cost you your belief and your time. And then doing these few principles, so be clear on what you want, visualize, and practice that daily.
Awesome, very simple. Good. Love it. And I love those simple tips. And I absolutely believe in what you're saying. Colin's asked a great question, actually, and he says, how do you recognize when is a gut feeling or intuition? Great question.
Yeah, very great question, Colin. It's hard to explain, I normally get that emotion just in my stomach or my gut. I just get a feeling, and this is where it comes to energy. And it's something I think you need to learn to listen to. For me, it's either an uneasiness. I just feel off. I just do not feel lacquered. It's hard for me to explain the feeling, but for myself, it's just like, I feel like kind of like, well, something is just not right. It's that's that voice that in my head that something is not lucky here, something is off here, and I need to investigate that. Other times, when you meet somebody or you're in a sales conversation, everything just goes well. You're feeling just great. You're on a high vibration, and for me, it's when I just feel down and I just feel like, no, something is not lucky here. Something doesn't gel. That for me is a red flag. And I think, okay, maybe my gut feeling is telling me something here now, and I need to investigate that. Does
the
that
other
answer
thing,
your question, Colin?
It's interesting what you mentioned about it is very difficult to describe intuition, right? I don't know about you, Karel, but from my perspective, if I'm doing, say, due diligence or research on, say whoever it is that I'm on a call, right? So we get like loads of calls coming in on a daily basis and that want to work with us. But what we do is we do our due diligence and our research to see if these people are actually the right fit for us as a company, right? And we don't like to beat around the bush. We like to add value to people, but if we feel that they're not right, because our intuition tells us that actually, do you know what? It's unethical. It goes against my values. It goes against what I'm feeling right now, as in, how I could actually add value. That to me is kind of, I suppose that's a way that I recognize if intuition is right or wrong. Does that make sense?
Important,
for me, he's going to come back in.
There we go.
There we go.
It starts raining here now, so maybe that's what it is.
That's the third world country Wi-Fi, my friend.
For me, my values, I know my value system. For me, my values are trust, authenticity, loyal. That's part of my values, and to be real. Because I hate, and to be truthful, I hate personally if people lie to me and take me for granted and those kind of things. So that's the kind of values that I bring into my business. And when I meet somebody and it's not aligned with my values, that immediately raises a red flag, and it raises like, hey, no, something's not here, and I don't need to align myself with this kind of person. Although sometimes I want the sale, but do I really gonna put my values down into getting a sale? And I've had that experience with somebody that actually my brother, we were just out of school, and he was selling vacuum cleaners. And I went kind of in a vacuum cleaners from door to door. We actually knocked from door to door. It was crazy, and I love my brother to bits, but I told him, like, listen, dude, I can't sell with you because I hate when you lie in people's living room to get the sale. And I didn't know that time that it was against my value, because I didn't know these things, but I just felt wrong to lie to people to get a sale. And I've taken that throughout my whole life. Thank God he's not doing that anymore, because he learned the truth about sales, and it's actually my twin brother. He learned the truth about being real and authentic and all those kind of things as well, So he turned that wrong thing as well. But that, for me, that's where that came from, and I adopted that value because that's who I truly am. I'm not going to go against my values. And if I meet somebody, doesn't matter how much money they have, doesn't matter what car they drive, how good they are, and what they're standing in life, in social life is. If their values goes against my values, no, I'm not going to align myself with that person. Awesome.
Very cool. Yeah, I think Colin was happy about that. Great to. I hope you got some great value there, Colin. And that's awesome. So I was going to say to you guys, we're coming towards the end of our show. By the way, we've been rabbiting on here for a best part of around give or take 45-50 minutes thereabouts. But listen, what I was going to say to you, let's talk about what we're working on right now. Do you want to share, or shall I share? What do you want to do?
Oh, you can share it. It's your project, So yeah, it's your baby. It's your baby. All right. Come on.
Right. In fact, let's start. We can team up on this one, right? So, so on the 4th October time, me, Karel, and 16 other co-authors are writing a published book, actually, based on the concept of game changers, right? The game changers, right? So we all kind of, from my perspective, when we think of the word game changers, right, there's probably not one person will have a perfect answer, because we all have our, different opinions about what a game changer is and what a game changing business is and whatever it is. So, so I've decided to work alongside and collaborate, with some really awesome rock star people that are killing their industry right now. But more importantly, to create impact. Because for me, I'm about impact, right? I love creating impact, but I love adding value to people, like genuinely and authentically. I love adding value to people. And I know it's a really very subjective, kind of word as such, but, that's kind of how I feel. Do you know what I'm saying? But Karel, do you want to quickly share like what you're sharing with in the book?
Yeah. I'm sharing success. Where is my finger? Success secrets linked. What the gurus do not want to. What the gurus are hiding from you. And I've got a whole chapter specifically on this secret link of the metaphysical. How do you link the metaphysical with the physical, and your relationship with the metaphysical, and your relationship regarding to sales and money? And how do you do it with practical steps? I'm sharing you my story in there, and really simple practical steps how you can actually apply this visualization techniques and how to get clear on what it is that you want. Because if you're not clear on what you're going to want, guess what? And you're not going to get it. You need to be clear exactly what it is you want in life. So I've got a whole chapter about it. I was really excited in joining with you, Adam, and writing this. I wrote the chapter in 2 days. I was like, oh man,
love it,
amazing. Yeah,
love it. Well, listen, guys, if you are interested in learning more about our new collaborative project, and we don't have a title yet, by the way, it's just I suppose a concept as such. But listen, if you're interested in learning more about what Karel and myself, the game changers, the concept of game changers, do me a favor, subscribe to the YouTube channel, number one. Make sure you activate the bell. In fact, do that right now. Subscribe and activate the bell. All right. So do that right now. Don't do anything else. Just do that right now. Okay. And number three, okay, if you want to kind of get to know what other rock stars we have here on the show as well, do me a favor, subscribe to the Game Changers Experience podcast, which is it's like, for me, it is the creme de la creme. I interview some of the biggest influencers, thought leaders, Olympic athletes alike, and entrepreneurs from around the world. Honestly, the interviews are just off the chart. I love it. It's fantastic. It's great. Be great to get your feedback as well, guys, and how it's potentially going to add value to you and your life, because I know it will, without being big-headed or ego-driven, by the way. But listen, Karel, do me a favor. How is it that people can get in contact with you if people wish to do so? What's the best way to do that?
Yes, the way is they can get in contact with my email, Karel, Karel, at successgrowthacademy.com. And that's a new project that I'm working, and I'm launching Success Growth Academy very soon. So that's really, if you go to the website, you will see this maintenance page is still on, but you can contact me if you're interested. That's where the online courses will be, because it's an online educational platform.
Yep.
For entrepreneurs and business owners. Yeah.
And obviously, they can connect with you on social media, whether it be on Facebook or LinkedIn, right? You're on those
Facebook
ones, aren't you?
or LinkedIn or Instagram, Karel Vermeulen. Just my name and surname, and you will find it there. Or the Facebook page of Success Growth Academy.
Perfect. Awesome. Listen, guys, hope you've enjoyed today's show. I certainly have. What I was going to say to you, you've got your instructions. Make sure you do it right now. If you get to know me a little bit more, and Karel will know this more than anything else, right? My name's Adam. My middle name is Action Taker, because I don't do something, I just do it. And then obviously my surname is Strong, right? Which is kind of funny. But anyway, but listen, hope you've enjoyed today's show. If you have any further questions, you can always add any further comments on the comment section below. We look forward to your engagement, conversations, and hope that you've enjoyed today's show. We're back on here next week, next Wednesday. For me and Karel, hope you're well and have a fantastic week. See you soon, guys. Hey, you guys, I just want to say thank you so much for listening in to this episode of the Game Changers Experience. I hope that you got some amazing value, some great insights, and golden nuggets that you can implement into your business straight away. I would really, really appreciate it if you could leave a 5-star review on the button below. Have a fantastic day, and we'll see you on the next episode. Take care.